We wanted to talk to you about Bangalore, so maybe after the thing.
Yeah, sure. You can
Yeah,
uh, talk to me after this session. We will discuss
sure.
more about it.
Yeah.
And Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. We are in 118th session and we are discussing chapter 11, that is the Vishwarupa Darshana. Very special yoga. It's yoga of connecting with the Lord by seeing the universal form. Now, universal form is one of its kind. Just now, Hina Mataji was saying that how she understood a little bit about the Vedic cosmology. There are so many different planets, and to understand and comprehend the Vedic cosmology is not so easy for the tiny brain that we have. Similarly, the universal form also, it's extremely difficult to comprehend because, you know, it is talking about a form which is the universal form, which is going to have the whole universe within that one single form. So that's not so easy, isn't it? To comprehend one form, it's not so easy. But Krishna will make it very easy for us to at least get a glimpse of what it is. And Arjuna saw that universal form, and Sanjaya saw that universal form. So we will get a little glimpse of what is this universal form. So in the previous session, we had just started the 11th chapter. We have discussed four verses. But before we get into the recap, we will quickly chant the pranam mantras. You can kindly join your palms and chant along with me. And let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder, Acharya of ISKCON and my beloved spiritual master. So kindly join your palms and please chant along with me. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Hare Krishna. So, in the previous session, we had discussed verse number 1 to 4 of the chapter 11, that is universal form, and Arjuna, he began by saying that, O Krishna, after hearing to the transcendental knowledge that you have given me, now I am free from all illusion. All my moha is gone. I have no doubts that you are the Supreme Lord, and I am full confident that you are much more than my friend. So, and the best part is, after listening to all this knowledge, he is saying that all that confusions and doubts that I had about my duty as a warrior is now gone because I have heard you. So, this is what happens to us also when we hear the Bhagavad Gita. All the doubts in life gets cleared provided we hear it sincerely and we practice what we have heard. So when we practice Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life, all the doubts in life will become clear. And when it is clear, you can walk the path very simple and very nicely, very easily, right? So that is what is happening to Arjuna. But Arjuna said, very beautifully, he said, he's addressing Krishna as, Oh, Kamalapatraksha. He said, Oh, Kamalapatraksha, you, oh, lotus-eyed one. Now, I have a desire. What is that desire? Because of your anugraha, I have received all the knowledge. and my illusion is gone. But now, because you are Parameshwara, you are Purushottama, I now want to actually see the universal form. I want to see your Vishwarupa. So that is very, very special. I want to understand more about this. Though Arjuna is wanting to see this universal form, not because he wants to personally see it, but there might be people who may doubt the supremacy of Krishna and they may not accept him as Parameshwara. That is why he is asking Krishna to show his universal form so that the people in the future who claim themselves to be God or who have doubt on the position of God, they will understand through this particular universal form, Vishwarupa Darshana, that Krishna is no ordinary. Because it is just impossible for any ordinary person to show Vishwarupa. It's not possible. The whole chapter is dedicated for this particular Vishwarupa Darshana in the Bhagavad Gita. So, Krishna is the origin and source of all incarnations, including this Vishwarupa Darshana. So, it's a very action-packed situation, the scene on the battlefield. It's going to be very difficult for all of us to understand and comprehend again. It is just that we have to accept whatever Krishna is saying in the 11th chapter, because to visualize certain things is just impossible. It's very difficult to understand. But we will understand as we go forward, right? And then he also said in the fourth verse, Manyase yadi tak chakyam maya drishtum iti prabho yogeshvara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. So he said that now out of you are a Yogeshwara, and because you are Yogeshwara, you please kindly show this. I have that Manyase yadi tak chayam. If I am qualified, you think that if I am qualified to see this universal form, please help me to see that universal form. He is requesting Krishna that please show me your universal form. He is not demanding. So Krishna Arjuna is very humble, and out of his humility, he wants to see that universal form. And Arjuna is definitely a very qualified devotee to see the universal form. So now Krishna is going to speak. Krishna is going to speak the next thing. So it's very important. So what is going? Krishna is going to speak. So Dev, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Pashya me Partha Rupani
पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि
Shatashota Sahasrashah
शतशोऽथसहस्रश
Nana Vidhani Divyani.
नानाविधानि दिव्यानि
Just hold on. Nana Varna Kriti Nicha.
नानावर्णाकृतीनि च
Wonderful. Let's do that once again. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवान् उवाच
Pashya me Partha Rupani
पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि
Shatashotha Sahasrashah
शतशोऽथसहस्रश
Nana Vidhani Divyani
नानाविधानि दिव्यानि
Nana Varna Kriti Nicha.
नानावर्णाकृतीनि च.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. Hare Krishna.
So very nice. This is the beginning where Krishna is saying that, "Oh Arjuna, oh son of Pritha, now you see my opulences. Now you see my opulences, hundreds and thousands of very divine forms with multicolored forms. Now he's just describing. He's actually not showing. Krishna has not still begun to show that form to Arjuna, but he's saying, no, come now, I'll show you now. You come to my place, I'll show you to you. It's like that. Now I'm going to show you. But Krishna is saying that, oh, Pritha. Pritha, why Arjuna is called Pritha? Any idea? Oh, he's saying, oh, son of Pritha. Who is Pritha?
Kunti Maharani.
Yes. Pritha is the name of Kunti Maharani. That's why he's called Partha. Right? Arjuna's name is Partha because he's the son of Pritha. Generally, in the Vedic times, the younger sons, if a father and mother have children, multiple children, and they used to have multiple children, so when there are younger children, the most youngest one is called by the name of mother. You know, that's why Arjuna is the youngest of the son of Kunti Maharani. Nakul Sahadev are the Madri's son. But when it comes to Kunti's youngest son is Arjuna. Yudhishthir, Bhima, and Arjuna. So Arjuna is because the youngest one, he is addressed here as O Partha. And the eldest sons were called and with the name of father. So eldest is referred with the father's name, the youngest is referred with the mother's name. O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds and thousands of varied forms. You know, in the Purusha Sukta also, it is said, Om सहस्रशीर्षः पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो विश्वा अष्टतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलम् Om. So Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. So Sahasraksha means you have thousands of eyes, you have thousands, Sahasra Sirishaha. So you have hundreds and thousands of heads. So the Lord is the universal form is described in the Purusha Sutta also. So Krishna is saying the same thing here. You now behold my hundreds and thousands of varied forms. There are so many of them. Not an ordinary thing. But this universal form, Prabhupada says in the purport, that this universal form is not a spiritual form. Prabhupada is saying that this is not just like the material nature, this world is created and destroyed. This universal form is also created and destroyed. It is not an eternal form. See, there is a material world, there is a spiritual world. Material world is 1/4 of the creation, spiritual world is 3/4 of the creation. In the 3/4 of the creation, there are many spiritual planets where there is no birth, old age, disease, and death. And in that 3/4 spiritual sky, there are hundreds and thousands of different forms of Lord, and each of these form is having a separate planet. Like Buddha has a separate planet, Vara has a separate planet, Meena has a separate planet, Narasimha has a separate planet, Buddha has a separate planet. Each of the incarnation of the Lord have separate forms and they have separate planets. But whereas this universal form, although Krishna is the source of this particular form is not in the spiritual sky. It is only in the material world that this universal form is shown. It manifests and unmanifested. So whenever Krishna wants to show this to his devotees, he will manifest this in different ways. Like he showed it to Duryodhana also, he showed it to Mother Yashoda also, and he's showing it to Arjuna also. So these different universal forms can be manifested and unmanifested, but it is not eternally situated in the spiritual sky. It is not one of the permanent form of Krishna. Krishna can take this form and again he can change this form. So like that. So universal form with our limited understanding is just not possible, and it is not to be seen by any ordinary man. Arjuna is a great devotee. Now Duryodhana was shown this out of Krishna's mercy. He is not a great devotee, but he was still shown. Why? Because Krishna wanted to make him understand, at least, come on, this is the last chance. Correct yourself, mend yourself, understand that I am the Supreme, I am in control. But he didn't understand. He still was so adamant because he is a personified Kali Purusha. So, whenever somebody wants to see this universal form, Krishna has to give that power to us to see this form. So, if any one of you is really wishing to have that desire, like Arjuna, oh, I want to see a universal form, then you have to beg Krishna and pray to Krishna, my Lord, please bestow that power to me so that I can see. But Krishna is not going to show. It's very difficult. Right? Very, very difficult. Extremely difficult. Just imagine for a small Nitai Gauranga deity or a small Laddu Gopal that you will have at home. It is so easy. You take one garland and you make and you put it and nicely you bring the dresses from Vrindavan and you make and nicely put to the dress to the Lord. You have a small little plate and you can offer some laddu and whatever you want to make and offer to the Lord. And just imagine if you have to if at all you have to worship the universal form. Do we have the resources? If you have to make a garland for the Vishwarupa, just imagine all your life you will be just making the garland. You'll not be able to finish. It will be so huge. If you have to offer something, okay, come on, I'll make some chappan bhog. Forget about chappan bhog. Even one bhog, if you want to make for that universal form, how much can you make? It's difficult, no? So the universal form is not meant for devotees, but it is only for those who are very adamant and they don't accept Krishna as the supreme. For them, because they take a lot of pleasure in seeing something very powerful. Some anything powerful they bow down. Even if you go to the tribal areas in Africa, they whenever there is lightning, they bow down. Because, oh, lightning is the thunder and lightning is very powerful. They bow down to that. Why? Because it's very powerful. So similarly, some people they don't bow down to Krishna, but when Krishna shows that universal form something very powerful, then yes, he's God. So it's like that. So that is why this Vishwarupa is important for such people who can accept Krishna only when he shows his power, his opulences. But devotees are not like that. Right? So this is what Krishna has just told now. Okay, Arjuna, now you see my multicolored forms. He's saying multicolored forms. Now, multicolor means according to the range, visible range, we can see only Vibgyor, right? It's only 7 colors. And of course, 7 colors, when they mix and match, and then there will be so many colors. I think about 3,200 or 3,700 is what people talk about, that these are the different colors and these many colors a human eye can see. So many such things they talk about. But in reality, in spiritual world, there are just unlimited colors. We have no idea about that. So multicolored forms, everything that is there existing in this material world, Krishna is going to show all those colors also, multicolored forms. Just when in if you go and check in YouTube, sometime you just type that 4K or 8K videos of wildlife, birds, something like that. Oh my God, what amazing, colorful, beautiful birds you'll see, and maybe not just birds, even insects. So beautifully, nice patterns and designs and colorful. You just go mad when you see those beautiful things. Small insects, so beautiful insects, small flowers. You see the birds, what design it is. You can really appreciate Krishna so much just by seeing that video. Whenever I see some of those videos, it is so attractive, and I see that, okay, this is how Krishna can really come into so many colorful forms. He's the source and color source of so many colorful forms, like the birds, the insects, and all that thing. And here Krishna is saying, I'm going to show you my all multicolored forms now. Correct. So it is not impossible for Krishna to show the multicolored forms, because he is the source of so many beautiful and colorful things, right? So this is what Krishna has said in the fifth verse. Hina Mataji, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the next verse, that is the sixth verse. Okay. Pashyadityan vasun rudran
पश्यादित्यान् वसुन् रुद्रान्
Ashvinau marutastata
अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा
Bahunyadrishtapurvani
बहुन्यदृष्टपूर्वाणि
Pashyascharyani Bharata.
पश्याश्चर्याणि भारता
Once again, Pashyadityan vasun rudran
पश्यादित्यान् वसुन् रुद्रान्
Ashvinau marutastata
अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा
Bahunyadrishtapurvani
बहुन्यदृष्टपूर्वाणि
Pashyascharyani Bharata.
पश्चाश्चर्याणि भारता.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
yes. So beautiful, huh? Here it is saying, Krishna is saying, oh Bharata, you see that I'm going to show you some wonderful things which no one ever has ever seen or heard before. So it's a very, very special form. Only Arjuna, and now, of course, Sanjaya is also watching this. And what is he showing? Manifestations of Adityas. Now, There are Adityas. Who are these Adityas? We had been to Vrindavan, and Vrindavan we have seen uh, the place of Adityas, right? You remember the Adityas? Any one of you?
Dwadasha Aditya Tila.
We had gone to the Dwadasha Aditya Tilas, right? So there are 12 Adityas, right? These 12 Adityas are not ordinary people, they are very, very powerful. And in the cosmology, again, they are a part of the cosmology, Adityas. Just now, today is all about universal form, cosmology, and today again we are talking about Adityas, which are actually a part of Jyotisha Shastra. Why Jyotisha Shastra? Because they actually take care of the proper functioning of the universe. This all these 12 Adityas, they are the one who actually give power to the nakshatras. All these different nakshatras that we have, the forces, each nakshatra has a certain force. It has a certain universal intelligence which actually takes care of the birth and death cycles of each one of us. All the nakshatras have a certain power which influence us, right? So all these different Adityas are actually controllers of the different nakshatras. For example, now there are Navagrahas. You have heard about Navagrahas. So all these Navagrahas are actually directed and powered by these personalities called Adityas. Now they manage the Shakti of all the nakshatras. I'll give you a few examples. There are different like Dwadasha Adityas, right? 12 Adityas are there. One of the Adityas is Bhaga. One of the Adityas is called Bhaga. He is the lord of the nakshatra called Purva Falguni. Purva Falguni, which actually bestows a lot of good fortune. You know, Purva Falguni, Bhaga means in Sanskrit a portion. So uh, so when we actually uh, uh, it is we have this people born in Purva Falguni, it really makes good marriages. There is a lot of divine intelligence and a lot of respect and worldly gains they get because Bhaga means fortune. So Bhaga is a personality who controls this Purva Falguni nakshatra, and those who are born in the Purva Falguni, they are bestowed with all these good things. Then there is another Aditya called Aryama. So he is a god of patronage. Especially, he controls the nakshatra called Uttara Falguni now. So, any person who is born with this thing, he is also very, very auspicious and he gets a lot of lucky opportunities in life. So because of Aryama, he makes that person very famous. And then there is another Aditya called Savitur. Savitur is the controller of Hasta Nakshatra. Now, you have this hasta means hand, hasta nakshatra. you know Many people are very skilled. There are many people who have very good needlework, pottery work, and they make a lot of slight, like magicians. All such great personalities and people, they have a lot of good handiwork they do. So that is all because of the influence of Hasta Nakshatra, but that Hasta Nakshatra is in turn actually controlled by a personality called Aditya called Savitur. And people sometimes they also do this. You must have heard about cosmic healing, and you have heard about Reiki healers. So all this divine intelligence, these magicians, they're all actually some most of them are born in Hasta Nakshatra and they're influenced by this Savitur. And there is another Aditya called Mitra. So he controls the Anuradha Nakshatra, and they are the peacekeepers of the world. In this world, there needs to be a balance between the good and evil. Evil. So all the peacekeepers, there are many people who are actually working towards keeping peace in the world. So those people are who are born in Anuradha Nakshatra. So they are influenced by this Aditya called Mitra, and of course Varuna is there, who takes care of the Shatabisha nakshatra, where they have the power of 1,000 healers. So like that, you can go on and on about all these different Adityas. They are very, very powerful beings and they influence the nakshatras, again related to the cosmologies, right? So 12 Adityas. And then there are Ashta Vasus. Krishna is also talking about Vasus in this verse. He is talking about who are see, there is Adityas, then there are Vasus, right? So Vasus are a group of deities who are actually the attendants to Indra. They're all subservient to Indra. Now, I have told this before also that Bhishma is actually one of the Vasus called Dyu. Sometimes they are also called as Dew. Dew Namaka Vasu. He is one of the Vasus who was cursed to become Bhishma. Right? So Ashta Vasus are there. So 12 Adityas plus 8 Vasus. Totally it became 20. Right? So these Ashtavasurs, again, in Vedas and different parts, even in the Ramayana, they have been referred to as the children of Kashyapa and Aditi. This Adityas also. Why they are called Adityas? Because they are the son of Kashyapa and Aditi. That's why they are called Adityas. So similarly, these also, the Ashtavasurs are also the children of Kashyapa and Aditi. So in Mahabharata, of course, they are referred to as the son of Manu and Dharma. So there are different um, uh, parents that have been mentioned to different gods based on the kalpa of the day, sometime of the kalpa of the Brahma. Sometimes these kalpa antara will be there. The differences because of the day, the change of days in the life of Brahma. That is all possible. So the main thing is these Ashtavasus, they are generally, one who attend to the fire and light. They are controller of fire and light. They take care of the fire and light. Very, very powerful devatas. And you can imagine all these personalities which are there in the big universal form. They are taking care of a lot of things for our existence here. Our existence is not simply independent. We may think that we are independent, but so many personalities are actually working so that we get experiences based on our desires. So we desire a lot of things, but our experiences are all facilitated by so many of these gods. Then Ashtavasus are done. What are the next? Rudras. Then there are 11 Rudras and Ashwini Kumaras. Now, Rudras are again very powerful associates of Shiva. There are 11 Rudras, and Ashwathama is one of the Rudras who is born. One of the Rudra is born as Ashwathama. So, this Rudra or Shiva, Ardhanareshwara, he's half man and half woman form Ardhanareshwara. So, when there is when Shiva became agitated once, so he became 11 Rudras, and the female form became 11 Rudranis. So the wives of those 11 Rudras. So there are different various names for all these Rudras called Manyu, Manu, Mahamsa, Mahan, Shiva, Rudvaja, Ugra Tejas, Bhava. Some of them are very ferocious, and some of them are very peaceful Rudras. So in Rudras also there are categories, and they have their wives also: Dhi, Vritti, Ushna, Uma, Niyuti, Sarpis, Ila, Ambika, Iravati. Like that, they have different names of the Rudranis also. So basically, then Brahma gave them the power. Especially Rudra is the controller of the senses and especially the mind. The mind, the effect of mind or the functioning of the mind is enabled by Rudra. Rudra is given that position that yes, you please be in charge of the mind. Mind is an element in itself, but at the same time, all our minds can be controlled when we pray to Rudra. So, of course, we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but many people who are in the yogic practices, they actually worship Rudra because they want to control their minds. So, they are really very loyal companions of Shiva, and many Vedas have given many detailed descriptions about these Rudras. They have immense power, and they are like they wear golden necklaces, like lightning gold, very very special gold they wear. Very powerful personalities. So there are 12 Adityas, there are 8 Vasus, 20 plus 11 Rudras. How many? 31. And 2 Ashwinas, so to 33 gods. Okay, all of these sometimes are referred to in the Vedas as gods, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras. Now, Ashwini Kumaras are also not ordinary personalities. We have Surya Devata, who is what's the name of our Surya Deva? Anyone remembers? Anyone knows?
Vivaswan,
Vivaswan is the name of the sun god, and his wife
Chaya,
Shaya, no, Sangna Devi. Sangna Devi is the wife of Surya Dev, but Sangna Devi created Chaya Devi. Because Sangna Devi, she thought, oh, this sun is, emanating so much of heat. and I'm not able to tolerate this heat. I cannot be his wife. I'm getting burnt here. Husband, always burning so much. She said, no, I can't stay with him. So she went away, but she went away creating Chaya Devi, exact replica of her, and she left Chaya Devi. And Surya Devi was thinking, oh, she's my wife only, but she went into forest. But later on, of course, he gets to know, and then he goes in search of Sagna Devi, and then he finally finds her in one of the forests, and they both take a form of horses, and then when they unite as horses, they beget beautiful children, twin children called as Ashwin Kumaras. They are also sometimes called as Nasatya Dasra. This Ashwini Kumaras are also called as Nasatya Dasra. Nasatya Dasra. So their names, they have individual name, Nasatya Dasra. Okay. So in general, they are called as Ashwini Kumaras. They have one common name, Ashwini Kumaras. But they're twins and very, very powerful gods, these Ashwini Kumaras. Basically, what happened was these Ashwini Kumaras, they are in charge of the well keeping, or they always try to help the saintly people on this earth. All the mortals are constantly helped by these Ashwini Kumaras. Even in the time of Mahabharata, all the soldiers were treated by Nakula and Sahadev. There are unlimited instances where, like for example, Gautama, once he was traveling through the desert and there was no water, Ashwini Kumaras came and they dug water for Gautama Rishi. And then many times somebody's hand is gone, somebody's leg is gone. So Ashwini Kumaras, they always come and help the devotees, especially the mortal beings on this planet. Very, very powerful. You must have heard about this very beautiful story of Sukhanya. Now, Sukhanya was the daughter of a king called Sharyati. Sharyati is a very, very great king, and once he was going into the forest for hunting along with his soldiers, and then he had taken his daughter, a very young little daughter called Sukanya, into the forest. And when they wanted to halt, they had their tent and everything, their camp set up, and Sukanya, she was walking, and then she saw an anthill, and there was a big anthill, and she thought, oh, what is this anthill? And within that anthill she saw two rays coming, rays of light. Oh, this is something so beautiful. So she took one stick and she actually pierced, and then blood started oozing out of those two holes. And then she became very frightened and she ran away. And then what happened was, she didn't tell this to her father Sharyati, the king Sharyati. And everybody, all the soldiers, they had constipation. And it was a big problem. All of them were suffering. Then they understood that there is something wrong that we have done here in this forest. So Sharyati was inquiring with everyone and nobody answered. Finally, Sukanya, she comes and begs, and she tells the father that actually I went to that anthill and I actually pierced, the blood started oozing out. And I think this is the main cause for all this constipation problem in our camp. So then they go there and they find out actually there is one old rishi inside that anthill, and that is Chavana Rishi. Now, Chavana Rishi is a very fragile, old personality. And immediately when he got to know, Sharyati king got to know he's a great Rishi and my daughter has pierced the eyes of the great Rishi and blood is oozing, he immediately fell at his feet and said, my Lord Rishi, please forgive. She has done this out of ignorance and out of her childishness. She's a child. Please forgive her. And then out of this, as a matter of repentance, for her also, as a matter of repentance, I give her in hand with you, in marriage with you. So just imagine Chavan Muni, old fragile Rishi, and here is a young girl who is now married to Chavan Rishi, who is so old. And Sharyati says, although he didn't want everybody to suffer, because what if Chavan Rishi curses the whole kingdom and it becomes a big problem? So in order to take care of his kingdom, he had to let go of her daughter out. Without unwillingly, he gave that. He got this marriage done, and then and told, please take care of this Rishi very nicely, and he's your husband from now. And this little young girl, she's serving Chavan Rishi day and night and trying to give him whatever best she could. She has lived in the palace, but now she's in the forest taking care of an old man. And then once, they were just going through the forest, and then the Ashwini Kumaras, they come there. And when they come there, they actually try to, offer or rather they tried to seduce um, Sukanya, saying that you now accept us as one of us as your husband. You give away this Chavana Rishi. She said, no, I'm very devoted and loyal to Chavana Rishi. Ashwini Kumaras just wanted to test, and they became very happy with her chastity. He said, you ask any boon and we are ready to give you. Then she says, please make my husband young and strong. And then they became very, very happy. They said, yes, okay, Sukanya. Ashwini Kumara said, we will definitely make your husband Chavana Rishi very young. You please bring him to this particular pond, lake, and one condition, we will make him very young and strong, but once he becomes young and strong, he will look like one of us. You should be able to identify your husband properly. Then only he'll become young and strong, and he'll become yours for the rest of your life. She agreed, and then Chavana Rishi was taken into this pond, and Ashwini Kumaras took Chavana Rishi into the pond. And they are celestial doctors, Ashwini Kumaras. They treated him, and moment he came out, not he came, actually three of them, they came out. All three of us, the Ashwini Kumaras and Chavana Rishi, when they came out, they were all looking identical. But the chastity of Sukanya was so wonderful that she could identify Chavana Rishi perfectly. When she identified, and Ashwini Kumaras were very blessed, and that is how this word has come, Chavanaprash. We all eat this Chavanaprash, right? So Chavanaprash has come from this word, Chavana Rishi was blessed with Ashwini Kumaras, and because he took this Chavanaprash, he didn't take Chavanaprash, but he was blessed with Ashwini Kumaras by the celestial medicines. So that name came as Chavana to Chavanaprash. And then Chavan Rishi also, because he was so pleased with Sukanya and Ashwini Kumara. Ashwini Kumaras, until then, they were not getting their portion of offerings in the yagna. Anytime yagna happens, any yagna we do, we give different portions to the different devatas. Agni will get, Indra will get, Chandra will get. But Ashwini Kumaras were not considered to be devatas only. The devatas were had abandoned them. Oh, these people, they are always on the earth treating these mortals. So they are most of the time spending in the mortal region. They are not in the heavenly planet, so we don't consider them as devatas. And we don't want them to have any offerings. But then it was Chavana Rishi who started giving, because of his tapasya and these discussions and all those things between the gods. Then finally Ashwini Kumaras now also, they get a portion of the sacrifice whenever there is any yagna. So Ashwini Kumaras are blessed that way. So very, very wonderful beings is Ashwini Kumara. So now you know who are the Adityas, you know the Vasus, you know the 11 Rudras, and the pastimes of the Ashwini Kumaras also. So Krishna is talking about all these personalities. See, when Krishna is saying something in the Bhagavad Gita, we should know the background of all these different beings, because he's not simply taking names of some ordinary personalities, right? Okay, so that is one thing where Krishna has mentioned about the. And then Krishna goes on to say something further also. He says that, okay, behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen. Yes, nobody else has ever seen these beautiful forms before. Now, when he's showing this universal form, he's referring to all these different devatas. You will see these devatas, Arjuna, in this universal form. He's just giving a kind of trailer or a brief before he actually shows the universal form. So Vinodji, you can unmute yourself. We'll chant the next verse. Ihaikastam Jagatkrishnam
Ikaikastam Jagatkrishnam
Pashyadya Sacharacharam
Pastajya Cha Karakarakram
Mama Dehe Gudakesha
Mama Dehe Gudakesha
Yachanyadrishtumicchasi.
Yacha Nadrishtu Nichumi.
Wonderful. Let's do that once again. Ihaikastam Jagatkrishnam
Idekacham Jagatkrishnam
Pashyadya Sacharacharam
Paschadya Cha Karakrakam
Mama Dehe Gudakesha
Mama Dehe Gudakesha
Yachanyad drishtumichasi.
Yashade Trishta Ichchami.
Once. Wonderful. Please read the translation.
O Arjuna, yeah, O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non moving is here completely in one place. Hare Krishna.
Once again. Beautiful. So, Vinodji, let's do the next verse also. Let's continue to chant the
Yeah.
next verse also. Natumam shakyase drishtum
न तु माम सक्षकृ दृष्टुम्
anenaiva swachakshusha
अनेनैव चक्षुषा
divyam dadami te chakshuhu
दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षु
pashyame yogamaishwaram.
पश्चिमे योगमैश्वर्यम्.
Once again, natumam shakyase drishtum
न तु माम शक्यसे दृष्टुम्
anenaiva swachakshusha
अनेनैव चक्षुषा
divyam dadami te chakshuhu
दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षु
pashyame yogamaishwaram.
पश्चिमे योगमैश्वर्यम्.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence.
Wonderful. Very nice. So, Achyutanji is listening to us on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining, Achyutanji. So now, Krishna is saying very nicely in this both verses, that is verse number 7, he's saying that, oh Arjuna, whatever you want to see, you will be able to see in this universal form. Everything is there, past, present, future. Whatever you desire, you can see in this material world, in this particular universal form. So this is very, very special. See, just imagine today, if we, out of using our technologies, we have made technology, we are sitting in Bangalore, you are in somewhere else in Mumbai and many others in any part of the world, we are able to connect and communicate. We are able to see each other. There is some amount of beautiful things that have happened because of technology, no doubt. But actually, if you deeply understand all this AI technology that people are talking about today, artificial intelligence and machine learning and all these things, all these are somewhere connected, deeply rooted to this kind of science which is already existing in our Vedas, in our scriptures. You see, they are there. Arjuna and Krishna are in Kurukshetra. Sitting in Kurukshetra, Arjuna is getting the vision of the whole universe. It's like augmented reality, virtual reality, whatever you call these days, people, virtually you are transported to a certain place, isn't it? When you have that VR headset or AR headset, when you wear that, you are actually transported to that world. If we mortal beings can create something like AR and VR, virtual reality and augmented reality, and you can visualize and get an experience of being deep in the water, or you can have an experience of in the sky or in the space. Imagine Krishna is going to give that kind of divya vision. He's saying, you cannot see my universal form with this ordinary eyes. I will give you special divya, special eyes through which you can see. That means he's going to give him some kind of VR set or AR set, which is not what we have an experience of AR and VR. Krishna is going to give him a wonderful technology through which he can see the universal form. Sitting in Kurukshetra, he can have the vision of the whole universe. The Hubble Space Center or the satellite, it can catch certain things in the universe. They're trying to get the images of the universe. Oh, this planet is so beautiful. This galaxy is so wonderful. Anytime a new picture pops out and it becomes a big news in the newspapers and the TV channels, oh, we have gone and now Chandrayaan, yes, we are going and landing on the moon. it's so far and we are trying to still get certain images from the universe and so many things like that. But here, Arjuna can visualize the whole universe sitting in Kurukshetra. That is a special vision that Krishna is giving him. That is the yoga that Krishna is talking about. Very, very mesmerizing it is. We cannot see it by ordinary eyes. So Krishna is saying, oh, Arjuna, just see, I'm not going to show you this with your own eyes. I mean, I'm not going to show you this way. I'm going to give you some Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. You wanted to see my yoga Ishwara, now you see my yoga Maishwaram. How? By having that divya, the divine eyes. What are those divine eyes? That's very special. We should understand. Now, as devotees, they are not really interested in seeing the universal form. Arjuna is not interested. I have told you before also. They are really very happy by seeing the two-handed forms of Krishna. Krishna is the source of all the forms, including the universal form. And here Krishna is right before Arjuna. Arjuna is seeing the two-handed form, which is the source of everything, but he is actually wanting to see the universal form. Now, universal form is not the highest form of the Lord. Actually, when Krishna is talking about divyam, chakshusha, divya eyes or divine eyes, it is not the promotion of the eyes. Actually, he's talking about the demotion of the eyes. Because it's a celestial eyes. Celestial eyes cannot see the form of Krishna. Celestial eyes cannot see the two-handed form of Krishna. It's a demotion. Arjuna is able to see the two-handed form. The beautiful form where Krishna holds the flute and standing in the Tribhanga Lalita form, that is the divine form. That divine form Arjuna is able to see because he is a devotee. Others, normal people cannot actually see it. And understand, even if they see, they cannot understand that he is the Supreme Lord. So when Krishna is showing him this universal form, it's actually the demotion. When he's talking about Divya, Chakshu, it's actually the demotion. Because he's already seeing the highest form of the Lord. When, the gopis were searching Krishna and suddenly Krishna, he assumed the form of the Chaturbhuja Narayana and he goes in front of the gopis and gopis say, hey, why are you disturbing us? We are in search. We are looking for Krishna. We don't want to see you. It's the same Krishna, but in the fourth Chaturbhuja form. They don't want to see it. Isn't it? So, Hare Krishna, we have my sister Vaishali also who has joined on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. So you see, Krishna, he has come in this two-handed form and devotees relish this two-handed form. A Chaturbhuja Narayan form humko nahi dekhna hai. We don't enjoy this kind of form. The gopis, they are not interested. And the gopas also, they don't want to see. They want to play with Krishna. And whenever Krishna wants to show his power, once, there was a fight between his friends and Krishna. And Krishna tell, hey, to his friends, Sridama and Madhumangala, you know who am I? I am the killer. I am the killer of Puta, Shakha, Trinavarta, everybody, Shakatasura, all these demons I have killed. And then these friends, Sridama and Madhumangal, they are laughing at Krishna. Hey, what you are talking? You have not killed any one of them. Because of your parents who are so pious, they pray to Narayana. And because Narayana hears their prayers, that Narayana comes within you and then he kills all these demons. You are not killing them. You are nowhere powerful. This way the Gopas are talking to Krishna. You are not powerful. And then these same boys, whenever there is a demon that is killed, these Gopas, they go and tell their mothers, mother, what? Krishna, he killed this Agasura today. And he killed this particular Dhenukasura today. And all these things. And like their mothers and parents are like, oh, really? Krishna did so many things. He killed those demons. And then these friends will say, actually, he killed all these demons because we were there with him to help him and support him. That's why he could kill. Otherwise, what he'll kill? He'll not kill. This is how the Gopas used to talk. They don't consider him only as God. They don't want to consider him as God. Because they're anointed with prema. Premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena santas sadhaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. When our eyes are anointed with that premanjana, anjana means that, we apply that ointment to the eyes, when that premanjana we apply, that love of ointment of love, bhakti, then we can actually forget Krishna's opulences. Otherwise, we'll all be very reverential towards God. But Gopas are not like that. Gopis are not like that. They don't see Krishna as God because they are full anointed with premanjana. And Krishna relishes this. Krishna so nicely enjoys when his friends teases him. Anybody teasing Krishna? Impossible. It's so difficult. Like friends are climbing on Krishna, and how Krishna, they are. If you have to offer something bhoga to Krishna. You make nice preparations and you have to offer to Krishna. There are so many rules and regulations. The ingredients should be clean. The plate should be clean. The bowl should be clean. The rice, tulsi should be clean. So everything proper you should keep, and then you should offer to Krishna, isn't it? That's the process. You should ring the bell. You should chant the mantras. That is how the offering happens. But when Krishna and his friends, they go to the forest every day to herd the cows, they all sit like as if it's a picnic, and it's a picnic for them anyway. All of them, the friends, they have bought so nice eatables to eat and to give to Krishna, and they want to give the best to Krishna. So what they do, they take nice shrikand, then Shriyama Madhumangal, they eat something. Oh, this is very nice. Oh, Krishna, take this. You eat, this is very nice. They eat first and then they give to Krishna, and Krishna is eating that juta. And then Madhumangal will take some nice thing and he's eating and drinking something, and he's like, oh, this is so amazing. My mother has so made so nicely. Krishna, moment, hey, Madhumangal, it is so nice. Madhumangal is eating it. Krishna will put his hand into the mouth of Madhumangal, takes that and puts in his mouth. Can you imagine? Krishna is eating the juta like this, taking from the mouth of the Gopas and eating it. So this is Krishna, and Devatas are all seeing and wondered, oh my God, this Krishna. We have to make all elaborate things to offer him bhoga in the silver plates and gold plates and whatnot. And this Krishna is eating like this, taking the food from the mouth of the Gopas and putting in his mouth. Because they're anointed with premanjana. So when we also have that premanjana anointed, our eyes are anointed with that premanjana, we can also actually, we don't need this divya chakshu that Krishna is talking about here. He doesn't want to give this divya chakshu to his devotees. That's why Krishna is saying, I will change only your vision, not your mind. And one of the acharyas say, why this is because Arjuna's mind should not change. Because he has already accepted the two-handed form as Supreme God. Arjuna's mind should not change. Because what if Arjuna's mind is also changed along with his eyes? Then he will start accepting, oh, this universal form is so wonderful and beautiful. And he'll start worshipping. Krishna doesn't want that. Krishna wants Arjuna to worship him in the two-handed form only. Right? So this is what Krishna has spoken now. And now in the next verse, Krishna is actually now giving him that Divya Chakshu. I mean, so-called, quote unquote, Divya Chakshu, which from the spiritual perspective, from the Bhakti Marga, it is actually not a divine Chakshu. It is a Chakshu, a celestial vision Krishna is giving so that he can understand this universe. Sitting in Kurukshetra, seeing the whole universe. Ah, what a wonderful technology that is. If any scientist gets, he'll be really mesmerized. Probably a scientist, if he gets this Divya Chakshu, he'll faint. He'll not get up only. Right? So, because how can somebody, any astrophysicist, you give this kind of a Chakshu, astrophysicist, he comes and he says, oh, Krishna. Actually, if they really want to see universe, no, they don't need any of these satellites. All these astrophysicists, if they can nicely understand that Krishna can show us universal form, they have to pray. They have to pray to this Krishna's universal form. And if he's really merciful, probably he'll give them, bless them with this Divya Chakshu to see the universe. This is the simplest way of seeing the universe. Although we are not interested. But for the astrophysicists, we are not interested. Any questions? From the next verse onwards, yes, there are going to be descriptions of the universal form, which we can only go through. We cannot really understand the whole thing because it's quite complicated. But we will just go through and see what Krishna is saying. But in the end, when Arjuna sees all this universal form, what is his reaction? That is very important for us. Arjuna's reaction and Krishna's response to that reaction is very important. That is why 11th chapter is to be understood very philosophically. We need to understand this philosophically. Very important. Why is Arjuna asking for a universal form, which is a lower form, when compared to a two-handed form? When he is directly seeing the source of all the incarnation and all the forms, why is he seeing this? Why is he wanting to see this universal form? In detail, philosophically, we'll try to understand in the upcoming sessions. Any questions?
So,
Good.
Prabhuji, does this mean that Arjuna already knew all of this and he was just asking for, um, he already knew all of this before only?
No, he was not aware. He was not aware of the universal form. He knew that Krishna is only my friend. He was not thinking that Krishna is God. But after seeing this universal form, of, from the again as Arjuna, as incarnation of Arjuna, he didn't knew this. Because Arjuna is going to say that in the next upcoming verses. He'll say, oh Krishna, I called you. Hey Krishna, hey Saka, hey Yadava. I ate with you on the same dining table. I slept with you on the same bed, on the same floor. And I called you what not? I called you, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi. Oh my God, this is not, uh, you are God. And I called you with names like this. You are the Supreme Lord. Please forgive me. He's talking like that. He addresses like that in the upcoming verses. That is very nice. So these are some very interesting, very beautiful things which Krishna is explaining in this universal form. And we will understand in deep about all these things in the upcoming sessions. We also have Melissa Jones, who has joined us on YouTube. Thank you for joining. And you can watch the previous videos to understand the chapter 11 as well as the upcoming sessions. You can join a little early so that you can be a part of it. Thank you so much for joining once again. So if you have any questions, you can please write them in the group. You can join and you can ask for more questions. So, Achyutanji, thank you so much for joining. And I have to make a call and I need to talk to you sometime about the yatra that we are planning. I'll give you all the updates very soon. Please take care, all of you. We will see you again. Take care. Hare Krishna.